It makes the nearby plants feel like they're being squeezed down. Photographer exclaimed, "You can use such a rare technique. Can control gravity within VI 5 meters. While fighting, they can hit. Good, there's a third strategy." He puts his hands together and puts air in his mouth. And then it releases a mixed flow of yin and yang air. From the mouth, it's like an atomic bomb. Quickly, a bright explosion broke out. Make this place desolate. The forest has been rocked by the birds. This resource radiates for hundreds of miles. Meanwhile, I can see the wind and the wind walking in the forest. They felt strange and looked at each other. Using lightning speed to launch directly to the site of the explosion. And over here, the photographer is looking at the land in front of him. Just because of one blow, it's become a smash hole. He exclaimed, "This strategy is probably of the violent nature. I've seen it before. Tiger Panda. I can do 2 black and white at the same time. This is the SAO principle. The power is extraordinary. With adequate physical condition is probably possible. Used 5 times. Use the tiger's spirit power to train goblins. To the same level as me. It can even become stronger." Suddenly, the photographer also discovered that someone was coming. "Keep your head up." I saw 2 aggressive young men. They flew to attack. At this point, the wind hurried to kick. But the photographer reached out his hand gently to grab it. I wonder where that bear came from. Dare, to make haughty plays in the domain of the heavenly family. The photographer threw him aside and said, "Don't move." But understand the wind this time turned Lao picture. He's turned into a fox, with sharp claws that come to attack. However, it is still supported by the photographer with his big hands. Understand that the solar power comes from behind. To support Cho, understand the wind, but the photographer threw out the kick. Make him fall a few times, dragging on the ground a meter full of pain. I understand that feeling full of anxiety. The photographer was also surprised by this. Hurry up and tell me I'm here. But understand the wind is distorted to hear into the ears that are mad. Go to the roof for a while. How can you make a photographer? Another way, open your mouth to bring out a powerful move. Let me understand the wind down to struggle. Understand the amazing heat. Aesthetic energy is so powerful. Then extremely a spicy distortion withstand. Crazy coming from behind. Let the photographer know what a festival is. But life is not like a dream. When you get close to him, it's also because of his tremendous energy. It immobilizes the body. Can't stand it. He was crushed to the ground by gravity. What is your village going to do? I am also worried about who you are. He said he was cold and said you guys should do it first. It then shrinks back into a normal shape. The photographer said it was me. Make Japanese understand C, but open mouth wants to turn up. He couldn't believe his eyes. Then I asked if it was the SAO photographer. Looking back at the big hole that the photographer had made at the beginning, along with the surrounding trees sprawling, I asked you why you did this. Anti-Tay photographer confirmed that. I was practicing, you came. To understand the wind also twisted face to speak in words. Then Regent, he dressed up and said that. Let's go home. When he finished, he ran away. He said, wait a minute. Ask the photographer to turn around. Then understand the wind hesitantly uttered the sentence, sorry, photographer. Then she laughed and told me to leave. I'm the one who has to apologize. Can't control the power. He scratched his head awkwardly. It's not this. What you've contributed recently to the family. You've all heard of it. We've always liked to annoy you before. It's really embarrassing. We were all dishonest before, sorry. I see the guy standing next to me standing there. Understand the wind immediately slapped Cho wake people up. He also bowed his head. He saw that and agreed to laugh, ha ha ha. You said nothing. Think of these two brothers. Even though he liked to bully others as a child. But people are not bad either. His previous life was devoted to the family. The photographer had a good time talking before. Everyone is in the house. It shouldn't be too far away. What do you do to get the medicine that the Cho family distributes? Raising capacity is important. New solidarity can help the Hung Thin family. Outside knit pharmacy to some point. I'm going to give some justice to the sheik. Let everyone practice together. This pharmacy. Let it be my gift to you to try to practice. Then throw the medicine jar to Cho. Make two brothers as dumb as butter. The photographer told me to go. A few hours later, the sky turned dark. Surprised, he asked the chief. You finally took me to the museum. Uncle Hai nodded. Laughing, I've been too busy lately. You know I'll take you tomorrow. If you agree, sit down. So what's the chief doing here today? He is a war genius. This war genius is organized by the head of the world. Invite nearly a third of the world to join. Billion martial arts congress so that the younger seniors are rubbed together. But our family. One is power is not enough. There are not many people in love. The photographer said it was because of you. It's the relationship between us and the gods. Very nervous. Hai said, but our family. I received the invitation of God. So the photographer thought, well, it's because of me. Hai said, there must be a conspiracy behind this. I thought I'd just laugh and join in. Afraid of something, at the very least, pull up the Monk Training Association. You are silly, ha ha ha. I am the only one who can call their association. Then please write a letter to Yang. This martial artist, if you can achieve 3. Then you can also earn silver. He asked me if I wanted to join. The photographer said, of course, I've been waiting for a long time. Hai agreed to say that. The rest of you just want to understand the wind and understand the Japanese. The photographer asked the two. They're all love gimmicks, aren't they? So instead of me give them to love Lin Bok Silver Truck, Viet. It's hard to understand why I love Lin Lin and Jan as it's choosing from the spirit you bought. The photographer nodded, even though it was only silver. But it's also very powerful. He gave me his hand and said maybe. Just do it. There's still half a month left. When the day comes, prepare for it. They're afraid they'll cause something. Don't worry, Chief. Turn the scene on the divine side of the world. Someone went to call the elders. Make him serious. This person is the judge. He prayerfully petitioned the elders. The judge called Nin. Let's examine you too. Then I thought this kid's judge. Body is the main line, but the VI is not equal to the Nin judge. 2 people on the side. All day seems arrogant and overbearing. It's really annoying. At this time, Nin is a 20-year-old white silver star. With the 23-year-old of the golden star. They went to consult the suspected elder. The judge asked the elder. Heard, heaven has responded to our invitation. He said, I've heard back from them. And the photographer will be involved. The next morning in heaven, the Chan sun shines on this place. The patriarch finally led the regent to the treasury to choose treasures. When you get inside, most of the treasures are empty. This place is just left. Some are hanging on the wall. The chief pointed the finger. This is the treasure of my family. Make the regent stupefied people. Ask yourself, is this the treasure of the Sao family? It hasn't been shipped out. Hear that, he told me I could move it all. Every object in this archive. It's all recorded in the books. Every time I want to take something out, they all have to go through consent of the elders of the family. It's only been years. In heaven, we are poor. To be able to sustain the family, we just picked out a few treasures from the treasury. Take it to sell for money. Like the treasures that we sell. It's just things. It can also be purchased on the market. Things I don't know. We don't dare to sell it. Coffee cup. Things you don't know can't be sold for. As if he had a black heart, he coughed lightly. Then dance and tell more than 100 of these remaining treasures. All have accompanied the heaven world, from the empire to the present. They all contain the ups and downs of history. That's the real treasure. That's what it is. Right now, I'm looking at the treasure. He exclaimed in surprise. I think there are a lot of good things. There are even 10 types. I don't even know. Suddenly, he looked at something curious. It looks very old. He pointed to the chief and said, I want that. That's what I like, and I immediately agree. I jumped up to get him a gun. Speed of moving too. You have to feel fast. The photographer confirmed that he wanted to get this. He said yes. He asked these old favorites. Even if you want to sell, you don't know what power. The devil thinks this is a soul. There's only electricity. Love the ancient priests. You can practice that. This one person can only use a pair in a lifetime. After the user dies, souls will also disappear here. But there is a couple. Suddenly, he reached out his hand and picked up book 10. He said he doesn't know what the plan is. Unfortunately, the writing above is not AI. It can be read. That's why this thing can't be made. The top view could be something for flying. Take a good look at this project. This thing, it's not the stuff of the early dark elves. The Holy Empire or the Holy Spirit. They make spiritual blocks, then seal the soul of the dead man inside, and then use the letters above to control them. This was at that time. If you were judged, you would have been arrested. Soul seal type. I can't do this. But this rare object to study is also NDTO. He said, I want this too. Make the photographer jerk shot. Then he asked me what it was. But he said he didn't know. Then turn your ass to work. Suddenly, the photographer's gaze was something else. He looked at the black ball on the wall and said, I want this too. I protested. The others are all okay. This jewel alone can't be. It makes photography difficult to understand. I don't know how much it's worth. Just, this jewel is what the first owner of Ra founded. Heaven has left. It's an extremely important memory for the afterlife. So you have to take care of it. Photographer replied, it is not the descendant of heaven. or SAO, so there's no problem. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. He took the ring and Ra said it was 2 billion yuan. The chief picked it up and bought some more for the loney. Free it from emptiness. When I saw the money, my eyes lit up. It's hard to refuse. Look at the black jewel and say, take it, take it. Photographer grinned. Thank you, chief, enough of this. Let's go back. Haha, laughing. You give so much to the family. There's nothing to be afraid of. Then the photographer quickly moved home. That soaked the treasure. Just got it. He put his favorite pair down on the table. Then bring out the energy. That's why some people like to be elevated. The wind is blowing around and grabbing it. The many resources of the photographer infused. That makes this treasure come alive. That's why the rust also splashed out. The treasure becomes shiny. They like to turn into a light. And then get into the photographer. He happily exclaims, well, it belongs to me now. The power of ordinary soldiers, higher than the power of the owner's soul. A level of authority like this is now equivalent to a golden weapon. Fortunately, I found out. If not, I don't know how long it will be covered in dust. He summons the right to like poultry in his hand. I cut out a few shots to try it out. Transferring scenes inside Vietnamese learning holy, IP raised his voice to ask, you've really thought it through. Heavenly illusory scene. It's not a safe place. His words are to the fisherman. Her expression is thoughtful. Then firmly said the vice president. Are you qualified to enter the heavenly realm? Confirm, of course. Your position is already excellent. The cow said bluntly. So I decided I'm going to go into the divine realm. My brother told me to remind you again. To enter the divine fantasy, it can harm your soul. Father, do you agree? Stop being silly and say yes, of course. I wear it for a few seconds and tell you to follow me. He took the boy to the tower and asked, I really want to be stronger. She confirmed yes. I want to become stronger and stronger. Soon the day of the competition arrived. In the arena right now. People are excited to go to this place. The captain greeted the manager. Thank you all for taking the time to come here. She's also very welcome. Thank you, on the side of the gods. People are surprised to ask, that's not photography. Elders and administrators of the Monastic Training Association, or SAO from the day, we find all kinds of ways to entice. It's also useless. I can't believe they are now in heaven. He was so hospitable again. There's a transaction between them. Yang Han asked the photographer with a small smile. What is your lake? It's killed 1 billion people. How do you plead guilty to me? He was startled. I thought I was referring to a client meeting. After the last auction. It just depends on the number of players on your side. There are 10 players who like guests. He laughed, except to say, I am really sorry. Think of this as a debt to a lover. Yang Han happily laughed, haha, it was good to know. Then she reached up and said, sighing, today's competition has not started. Sad to die. All the young people below saw it. Then salute the flag, laughing at the whole, the real beauty. The other guy reminded me to look away. What is the identity of the Yang manager? A word of the people is to be able to decide the fate of an entire world. Now someone comes to say hello. I haven't seen Yang in a long time. The photographer looked over here with close eyes. he said unexpectedly. Ocean management. I'm also interested in our competition. She said, haha. I want to come and see the contest. Maybe you can bet a few more games. Say it again. The landlord hasn't come yet. The one who comes here is the chief executive. He laughed, haha. Our patriarch is currently in retreat. So everything is left to the old man to handle. This betting table is also hosted by my family. Are you interested in participating? Just said. He was puzzled when Yang Xin called his brother regent again. Monk Training Association. Now, Fu is the national enemy. We don't need to play with them. Yang Han said, I just want to play a little. I only care about the fight. The judge doesn't need to pay attention, haha. The crowd is also buzzing right now. He looked at the gods of the world. He immediately touched the judge's eyes. The tunnel glanced at. He's like a growling dog. Intense, as if to bite. The man next to me was surprised to ask why. Judge Fei Young. Suddenly, the photographer stood up, jumping off the field full of provocations, laughing. Haha, I haven't seen you in a long time. The judge glanced coldly at Yang Han. I think he's got his back now. Let's see if I can skin you. The photographer stood behind, laughing sarcastically. The judge is really gentle. Stop talking about you to me. It's a generous person. Looking back on the VI practice of Nie recently made a breakthrough. It's been a long time since I gave her a massage. Hearing this causes the dog's blood to rush to the brain. I will throw a punch at you and tell you to die. But suddenly, the punch stopped. When Yang Han's chest, aggressive but defending front guard retreat. The judge quickly grabbed the judge's hand. Remind me not to move my sister. Make him stand still. The judge added that the fight was about to start. The young photographer will have to fight anyway. Until then, it's a fair fight. Is not better than SAO. You don't have to be here to lose gas. The judge had to listen to him and collect his hands. He glanced at the photographer with cold eyes. Then turn your ass away. But the photographer said this. This game has no money. It's not interesting. If you do not bet, you will not come out during the first match. Shen Ming laughed, haha. Ask the boy on the spot. We bet ourselves to win. Doesn't seem to fit the rules. The photographer suggested that I change to the owner. The judge was surprised to ask what he meant. He said, you can bet as much as you want. The judge said, interesting. I just don't know how to rely on the young man's resources. Do you need to float? As the photographer pointed at Yang Xin, said, there are billions here. The gods of the world are still worried that we can't follow or SAO. He startled her and hurriedly said no. I can pay for the photographer. Mr. Speaker, please rest assured to play. Make him a little quiet. Then agree. Then play a little bit with justice in mind. We don't care about rates and how to buy. Each side predicts the victory or defeat of his family. Eat as much as you think. The rate of our players losing is very low. Can I let you benefit? Just click your lips. So which side does the judge want to put it on? He laughed at the first fight. Is the final match between the juror and the young photographer. Here we are, the young master one. He's got a scrawny face. 5,000 love spirit deeply thought. Dare to follow or not? That makes the photographer jump in wonder. With this number, the judge also laughed provocatively and asked how scared he was. Make the photographer sweat slightly excess tiger. He yelled at 5,000 and also played street. God is so great. It's really stingy. It makes them look amazing. It's a provocation, isn't it? If you are so miserable. What's so interesting about this game? He then pulled out the spirit cards that appeared on his hand. And then throw the rafter down the challenging stage. People are in a hurry to steal this place. Everyone is fighting each other. The judge looked up and gritted his teeth. The photographer laughed. If the gods of the world were so difficult, I am reluctant to play with you a little. That's $5,000. Winning doesn't mean anything anymore. If we win, give it all to the person below. Just like before. This provocation made the judge look dark. He thought this boy was so poor. I was worried before. He will become a threat to the family. But now look out. Just a food guy. Just playing around raping people. While the photographer sighed with a pout. Continue to provoke. It's like dropping some change. I can't understand why there is a family. 5,000 people dare to open their mouths. Then the judge thought something was wrong. If that's true, Yang Han could not show his face. Think carefully about the photographer's expression. It seems a little too stupid. It's clear that he deliberately pretended to show us. Intent on irritating me. Maybe he's really confident he can beat the judge. He glanced at the judge next to him. My blood is boiling thinking, even if there is still a chance. Let's see what their power is first. Then say, the first match is just $5,000. Next we have to see the man. Are you willing to continue playing with us? The photographer laughed. Even if the gods want to play, I will follow you to the end. No matter how much you charge. Shen Ming laughed with pleasure. I just want to finish this fight. You may know your true strength. Anyway, we still have 2 more cards. He said the young man was very generous. If you and I, and the whole monk training association, is betting, who will stand as a witness? Replies, of course. It will be witnessed by all the nations here. The judge also agreed. After the news was announced, a bet between the regent and the gods of the world. It created a huge shock. The martial arts will begin immediately. The photographer went down to the field. The judge is also about to go down in a whisper. The back whispered, wait a minute. This war, the use of armor and weapons is not permitted. But you can use a pharmacy. These are 2 love vases. Take it with you in case you need it. The judge said, although it can strengthen the soul, but it will hurt my soul. He said coldly, family, I can't give you another soul. You have to beat him within 20 minutes. We can win the big city. The judge nodded, I understand. The judge kept reminding me, do not despise the young master. Makes the judge a little upset. That the voice says no and say forever. Beneath the gods of the world, everyone screams. Appellate lack of reinforcement up. And in heaven and earth, everyone was roaring, photographer. Lack of strength to defeat him. The 2 quickly faced each other on the field. It's going to be a very tough fight. The judge laughed and said you would lose badly. Do not dream that I will forgive you. I am grateful for the determination of the poor. When I return, I will pass on my word. The judge heard to stop. I can't stand this provocation. That rushed to attack. He grabbed the punch and jumped up to the photographer. Meanwhile, the photographer here quickly transforms the body. Aesthetic. I told Chief Sai to bet thousands of thousands. I can beat the judge in 20 minutes. I can't believe this guy didn't use it. Love has come. As soon as I knew, I made a bet. Lock it down. The judge was surprised to see that. I thought he was, but he directly changed into SAO, and he loves the soul too quickly. I don't have time to turn myself around anymore. But this stupid photographer. Use Tiger again Panda Sao. Haha, even if you don't change. I can also fight him a few times. Then pull away the distance. But life is not like dreaming of being too disrespectful. When only one move comes, made the judge distort in time to react. There's a kiss deep on the ground. This blow caused the ground to crack. That's why all of his strikers are gone. Dare to be aggressive. The crowd below. That's why, oh, there's an amazing sound. Side bet for photography is exhilarating. And the judge put show crazy blood screamed. This photographer's numbness peanut is really shameless. It is directly summoned. Love Lin, I can't see that the judge didn't summon SAO. Goddess people are so unkind. The people in heaven heard that and were also hot. Near the end of the day, he laughed coldly. Unscrupulous guard. Your lack of home is too stupid. The body is in love, the spirit does not use love. That rushed forward. That sounds so reasonable, the village of heaven. It is you who despise the enemy. Billions are not used, I still dare to blame my husband. That's why the two sides are fighting. In the crowd, there was a man with a chin on his back who said, "Wait, I just saw something like this." A tiger panda Sao Ha.